If you gaze long into the abyss begins to gaze into you. Imagine that you are the pilot of a lonely research module, cast out to the edge of known space. Before you is not just a cosmic object. This is Sagittarius A star, the supermassive monster at the center of our galaxy, whose mass exceeds the mass of our Sun by 4,100,000 times. You are at what you thought was a safe distance, but suddenly the instruments begin to go mad. Your ship is not just accelerating. The space around you begins to flow like water swirling into the drain of a giant sink. You attempt to turn the module around, but the jet streams of the engines are powerless against the curvature of the very fabric of reality. Your fear becomes material when you realize you are no longer a spectator. You are fuel for the darkest heart of the universe. Welcome to the place where physics ends and pure horror begins. From the window of your module, you see something incredibly majestic. This is the accretion disk, a colossal ring of gas and dust, heated to billions of degrees. This light is so powerful that it outshines billions of stars around it. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration captured a similar sight in 2019 when the world saw the first ever photograph of a black hole in the galaxy Messier 87. It looks like the golden crown of the cosmos, beautiful and incomprehensible. But something is wrong. You notice that this light is not just shining, it is bending. The gravity of the black hole distorts the rays so much that you see the back part of the disk simultaneously with the front. Your brain refuses to perceive this geometry. This is a beauty that conceals beneath itself a mechanism for the total destruction of matter. But here's the problem. You have just entered the photon sphere. This is an invisible boundary where gravity becomes so strong that it forces light to travel in circles. At this distance, approximately 1.5 times greater than the radius of the hole itself, photons cannot escape. If you look to the side, you will see the back of your own head, because the light reflected from your head has traveled around the monster and returned to your eyes. You are literally locked in a mirror labyrinth built from your own past. Your sense of orientation disappears. There is no front, there is no back. There is only an endless cycle of dying light. But it gets even worse. Before you arises the event horizon, a mathematical boundary calculated by Carl Schwarzschild as early as 1916. This is the point of no return. Imagine it as a border where the escape velocity becomes higher than the speed of light. Since nothing in our universe can move faster than light, this border is an absolute wall. As soon as the nose of your module crosses this line, no force in known physics, not a nuclear explosion, nor quantum teleportation, will be able to push you back. You are in a state of free fall, but for an external observer, you freeze. Thanks to the theory of relativity by Albert Einstein, time for you and for your colleagues at the base is torn apart. They will see you approaching the darkness for an infinitely long time, becoming redder and redder, until you simply disappear from their radars. But for you, this horror continues in real time. And this is exactly where everything changes. You cross the horizon. You expected an impact, a physical barrier, but there is nothing here except silence and darkness. However, the space inside the horizon behaves differently than what we are used to. According to the calculations of physicists, inside a black hole, space becomes unidirectional. This means that the center of the hole, the singularity, is now located not in front of you, but in your future. You cannot turn back, just as you cannot return to yesterday. Every movement you make, every attempt to escape, only accelerates your collision with the end. You are no longer a pilot. You are a passenger on a train rushing into nowhere on tracks that disappear immediately behind the last carriage. But that is not even the worst part. Now tidal forces come into play. A black hole is not just a vacuum cleaner. It is a giant machine for stretching. Because your feet are closer to the center than your head, the gravity acting on them is millions of times stronger. In physics, this is called spaghettification. This is not a metaphor. Your body begins to elongate. At first, it feels like a slight tension in the joints, but within a few seconds, your spine is torn apart. Your cells are stretched into long threads. Gravity is so merciless that it overcomes the electromagnetic forces that hold your molecules together. You turn into a stream of atoms, into a thin ribbon of biological plasma rushing into the heart of darkness. You are no longer human. You are a long, torn string of atoms rushing through the darkness. But if you thought the disintegration of the body was the finale, you were mistaken. The real trial begins where biology ends and pure, ruthless quantum mechanics begins. However, the real threat lies deeper than just gravitational pressure. You are approaching a zone that theoretical physicists, such as Joseph Polchinski, call the firewall. According to some calculations from 2012, the event horizon is not just a void. It is a wall of high-energy particles arising from the rupture of quantum entanglement. At the moment you cross the boundary, this shield of pure radiation should incinerate you in a fraction of a nanosecond. This is not just a burn. It is the instantaneous transformation of your matter into ash that scatters into the quantum field. You become a flash in the darkness that no one will ever see. Your spacesuit, designed for the extreme temperatures of open space, turns into vapor instantly. But due to the distortion of time, your brain perceives this flash as an eternity of pain. However, it becomes even more unbearable when you realize what is happening to the information from which you are constructed. Stephen Hawking and Leonard Susskind waged a black hole war for years, trying to understand, does that which falls inside disappear forever? The answer they found is terrifying. You become part of the holographic principle. Your self, your memories, the structure of your genes, every thought, is smeared across the surface of the event horizon in the form of two-dimensional data. You are no longer a three-dimensional being. You are merely a code, ones and zeros recorded on the skin of the monster. You feel your consciousness splitting, trying to hold on to a reality that is literally erasing your personality. You become digital noise in a vast cosmic archive of death. And it is at this moment that nature delivers the final blow to your logic. You enter the zone of the inner horizon, or the Cauchy horizon. This is the place where the stability of space finally collapses. Physicists Eric Poisson and Werner Israel proved that an effect of mass inflation occurs here. All the light, all the energy that fell into the black hole billions of years before you, and everything that will fall after, catches up with you at a single point. You find yourself at the epicenter of an infinite energetic explosion. This is not just a storm. It is the concentrated fury of all the time that has existed in the universe. The radiation here is so dense that it begins to create its own microscopic black holes inside your remains. You decompose at the subatomic level, and every part of you becomes a victim of another smaller predator. However, the true horror is not in the energy, but in the silence that follows. As you delve further, you begin to see quantum foam, the foundation of space itself. You notice how the threads of reality are torn and interwoven again. You see how the laws of causality die. You see events that have not yet occurred, and those that happened billions of years ago, simultaneously. This is not a hallucination. It is a reality where gravity has warped time so much that now no longer matters. You are stuck in a mechanism that grinds the very history of the universe. But this is not even the final stage of your destruction. The closer you are to the singularity, the more you realize that the singularity is not a point. It is the end of geometry itself. It is a place where the distance between any 2 points becomes equal to 0. You are no longer located somewhere. You occupy 0 volume while having infinite density. Your entire world, your entire galaxy, everything you knew, is now compressed together with you into one impossible point. This is the absolute zero of existence. You have become part of a mathematical error that the universe tries to hide from the eyes of the living. Your decay is complete, but your fall into oblivion is only beginning. Your journey is approaching its logical and terrifying culmination. You are in a place where the very concept of place ceases to exist. You have approached the singularity. But the true tragedy lies in something else. The singularity is not a wall you will crash against, nor a bottom you will fall onto. Thanks to the works of Sir Roger Penrose, who received the Nobel Prize for these studies, we know that the singularity is a point in time, not in space. It is your future. For you, it is as inevitable as tomorrow is for people on Earth. Only your tomorrow is compressed into a zero volume. You cannot avoid the collision with the center because that would mean turning time backward, and here time flows in only one direction, toward your complete annihilation. However, the most frightening discovery awaits you if this black hole is rotating. Most real holes in the universe, according to the solutions of Roy Kerr from 1963, are Kerr black holes. This means that inside them, the singularity is not a point, but a ring. Theoretically, you could pass through the center of this ring without dying instantly. You could see other universes, other timelines. But this is only an illusion of hope. In reality, centrifugal forces and colossal radiation inside the ring will tear your quantum structure apart before you even have time to realize what you have seen. You are stuck in a topological trap where the exit leads only to a new, even more incomprehensible form of non-existence. But this is only the beginning of your end. As you fall into the heart of darkness, you feel the effect that physicists call infinite blue shift. All the light falling behind you is accelerated by gravity and turns into hard gamma rays. You are literally bathing in the energy of the entire universe, which is trying to burn your atoms faster than gravity can crush them. You become the epicenter of the most powerful explosion that has ever existed. But this explosion occurs inside your consciousness. You see the finale of everything, but you have no voice to tell anyone about it. However, the true existential hell begins when you understand the mechanism of Hawking radiation. Outside, trillions of years have passed. The black hole that was your executioner itself begins to die. It slowly evaporates, losing mass over an incredibly long period of time. The numbers to describe which would not be enough in any language of the world. You are inside this agony. You are part of this mass that gradually returns to the universe in the form of cold, chaotic radiation. You have not just disappeared. You have been recycled. Your atoms, which were once part of your dreams and aspirations, are now scattered in the void like cosmic debris. But in this agony, another problem is hidden that makes scientists shudder. If information is indeed destroyed in the singularity, then our entire universe has no foundation. If you disappeared without a trace, then the past never existed either. You feel this yourself. Your memories of home, of the smell of rain, of the warmth of a human hand are erased not because you are dying, but because the very reality that birthed these memories declares them to be errors. You are the last link in a broken chain. You are the proof that the cosmos can simply forget about your existence. And it is at this very moment that the final, icy realization comes. We have always considered ourselves the center of creation, observers for whom this majestic theater of stars was created. But the black hole shows us the truth. The universe is not a home. It is a vast, cold mechanism that has no purpose. It is not evil. It is not good. It is simply indifferent. You fall into the singularity not because you are sinful or special, but because you are merely a random clump of matter that obeys mathematical equations. The cosmos will not flinch at your disappearance. No star will change its course. Your death in the heart of the monster is only a quiet whisper in the infinite scream of entropy. In the very center, where the curvature of space becomes infinite, you finally understand the truth. The universe was never created for us. We are merely a brief flash between two eternities of darkness. Our presence here is a tiny anomaly that is now being corrected. A black hole is not an anomaly. It is the norm. It is the final state of matter toward which everything living and non-living strives. Your journey ended where truth begins. We never owned our fate. You close your eyes, although physically you have not existed for billions of years. The last photon of light dies. Time stops. You have become the singularity. You have become nothing and everything simultaneously. The universe continues its cold dance, not even noticing that one of its atoms has just gone home. Into the eternal, impenetrable night where the laws of man no longer have weight. Like and subscribe to the channel. Become a part of our crew. In this cold cosmos, we stick together until the last atom dissolves into oblivion.